Well, a former Prince George's corrections officer is indicted for the death of detainee Ronnie White. 48-year-old Anthony McIntosh faces 3 charges related to the in-custody death of White, who died on June 29, 2008. Just 2 days earlier, White had been arrested and charged with murder in the hit-and-run death of Corporal Richard Findley during a traffic stop in Laurel. Former Prince George's Homeland Security Director Vernon Herron says he was surprised by the indictment.
I wasn't aware that the investigation had been continued by the Justice Department or the FBI. But, very relieved and pleased because, a cloud of suspicion had been over the Department of Corrections for quite some time as a result of this, the death of Ronnie White. I've said all along that it was not a homicide, that it was a suicide, and that, Mr. McIntosh had taken part in this. So, I think it's a relief for not only me, but the citizens of Prince George's County, the employees at the Department of Corrections, that hopefully this will, close the chapter of this horrible incident that took place.
The death sparked outcry from civil rights groups, particularly after the chief medical examiner ruled White's death a homicide by strangulation and asphyxiation. But the indictment says McIntosh found White unresponsive in his cell and failed to seek medical care for him or alert other jail officials.
As a result of the initial interviews that we had done with the inmates who were there, inmates and correctional officers, there's no love lost between them. And no one had heard anything, any screams or cries out for help or anything of that nature. So it was, and I'm quite sure if they had an opportunity to give us information on something that a correctional officer had done, they would tell us. But that didn't happen. Once I found out that, Mr. McIntosh had not performed his duties as a correctional officer, it was my intent to fire him, to dismiss him from the Department of Corrections. He subsequently resigned and, from what I understand, moved out of state.
McIntosh was arrested in New York City by U.S. Marshals. He also faces 2 counts for falsifying an incident report and witness statement regarding that death. The indictment does not identify who caused White's death.